Hi, my name is Eloise. I am an author and a writer and a former corporate lawyer. And today we're going to talk about how to get into Oxford to study law. When it comes to the course requirements for studying law at Oxford, one thing you might notice right away is that the course is titled Jurisprudence, which is the philosophy of law. Now, there's a lot of information on the Oxford Law Faculty website about how this came to evolve over the years of law developing at Oxford, which is really interesting, especially if you are a prospective Oxford applicant. You should definitely go and check it out. But the title Jurisprudence does refer to the traditional law degree that is offered at Oxford. The course requirements for A-level are currently AAA, which may surprise some people to learn that there isn't an A-star in that standard offer. But again, you should check your particular college requirements and also taking into account any contextual admissions information that comes along with your application. International students should also check how their grades convert over into the requirements that are found on the Oxford Law Faculty website. In addition to your A-levels, there is also the UCAS process of submitting your personal statement or the equivalent, and LNAT, which we will talk about a little bit later, as well as the interview process. So in terms of your preparation, I would see it as a 3-stage process. So this is splitting your application preparation into 3 main sections across the course of a year or longer if you have longer. But if you're looking at your application process and you have about a year to 6 months, this is a great time to start your preparation. So in this initial preparation stage where you're thinking about what exactly is law at university and would I enjoy studying it, a great thing to do is look up reading lists online, get a couple of books from that reading list and start working through them and just figure out, is this something I really am interested in? Does this make me curious to learn more? Am I fascinated by these concepts? Because ultimately you're going to be spending 3 years on a law degree if you decide to study at Oxford. You can find reading lists online usually, and you can either look at undergraduate admissions reading lists. So these are the reading lists that colleges publish for their offer holders to read over the summer before they join the university or the college. Or you can look at general reading lists that are online through a lot of online publications and just grab a few introductory books off those. As you're working through your initial reading, you can challenge yourself to think about how these concepts are applied in the real world. So how do the ideas that you're reading about in your book actually apply in your everyday life? Can you see these ideas in the application of law in the real world? And why is that interesting to you? You can also explore the practical side of law through work experience placements, either if you're able to obtain some real world work experience. Doesn't necessarily have to be at a law firm, could be an aspect of law within another corporate work experience placement. So for example, if your school is able to get you a placement in a business, could you see if you could talk to their legal team, or could you spend some time with their legal department? You can also do this through the context of a part-time job. So let's say you have a job in hospitality. Could you challenge yourself to think about the legal aspects of that job? So the employment side or the transactions that are happening every time you go to work. These are the real life implications of the law in our everyday lives. You can also think about any news stories that are happening at the moment and the legal implications and consequences of those. And you can visit a court. If there is a court that is nearby to you, you can often witness a trial or some kind of proceedings that are ongoing. This can give you a fascinating insight into the nature of law in practice, and in particular the skills of advocacy and the use of language in the context of law. In terms of your experience at school, there are things that you can do in this 12 to 6 month period that can really help to elevate your application. So those are often things like taking positions of responsibility, for example, a prefect position or a mentoring position within your school context, or things like clubs and societies. So could you start a law society if there isn't one already? Could you join a debating club? Could you take some position of responsibility within that context? And of course, elevating your A-level grades so that they are at the appropriate level for your offer. In the next stage of your preparation, this is like the 6th month mark onwards towards your application, You may want to think about things like open days, checking out the city if you're able to visit, looking at colleges, finding out more about which particular college interests you. You can find out a lot of information on the college's website about their values and what's important to that college, about the historical background of that college, about the academics that specialise in different areas of law within that college or the university in general. But open days are absolutely the best way to get a feel for the university. There are also things available online, so there are often webinars or lectures or different virtual experiences that you can have online, so it really is worth checking out the faculty website well ahead of time. In your final stage of preparation, you'll be revisiting all of the preparation you've done so far, as well as preparing your UCAS submissions, like all of the information that you need for that, your references with your teachers, making sure your grades are on the level that they need to be, any final open days or admissions processes that you're going through with the university itself, preparing for interview, and of course your LNAT. And again, we have a separate video on that, so please do go and check that out if that is relevant for you. In these final weeks before your admissions, it's really important to keep in mind the two key questions at the heart of this process, which are why do you want to study law and why do you want to study at Oxford? In terms of why you want to study law, really think about what it is about the law degree that you're going to be spending a lot of time looking at that is interesting to you. So what about these concepts is fascinating? What makes you compelled to learn more? What's exciting about it? All of these are really important questions to have in mind throughout these final stages of the process and in the run-up to your interview. If you do feel like you would benefit from any support, guidance, mentoring, or any assistance that isn't currently offered by your school, please do feel free to check out the information on screen now, which will help you get connected to an expert who can guide and assist you on your journey towards a law degree.